Welcome back, everyone, as we are nearing the end of tonight and its festivities, and boy, it's been a fun one. Of course, we've seen SSG go up first, and well, they had a pretty lackluster time going against, again, not really tier 2 team. It was more of a national team, the Mexican side of Ferris, and then, of course, we've seen the challenger teams go at it. And boy, that was one for the history books, and Suzaku, please sign me if I ever get to meet you.
But we're in the midst of one more game, potentially going to be 2 maps, maybe going to be 3. At this point, it's down to a Kami to see if they can find something that, well, in the past 6 rounds, they just could not. Opting to go to Border now is Rogue's choice, and we're seeing some bans come in pretty thick and pretty fast here. Capitown, Nomad, they're not wasting any time. They want to get into this as quickly as possible, which, to be fair, I quite like, because obviously, I'm not sure how many hours have we been up today for the play day? The qualifiers, it's been a bit of a long one today. There's been a lot of 7, 6s and stuff like that.
Maybe it's just long for you, but I don't know. It's just pretty standard play day, to be honest.
Yeah, I think what I'm looking at is that EU is in like 8 hours, and I'm casting that as well. Roughly 8 hours. So after this, pop back in 8 hours and be ready for some EU. But for now, let's get back into NA. Finka, first time we've seen her today on the board. Not the first time in the competition, but she is a rarer seen pick from the hands of Kilo for now. And starting on the defense. Now, previously I said, oh, Rogue starting on the defense on Clubhouse, gonna play in their favor. It didn't. It was shaky at best. And then their attacks were clean. So I guess I'm going to hold my mouth this time and see what actually comes to fruition.
I think they're warmed up. I think they're ready to go. Rogue are a team which have a lot better past experiences in best of 3s rather than best of 1s. That's why we're seeing them in relegations, because their best of 1 performance was not great. It really wasn't. They lost the matches that they needed to win, especially that one against TSM. That did decide who was going up in relegations. And nobody ever wants to go there. You never do.
No, it's not a nice place or a nice party to attend, so I guess we'll see if they can find themselves some semblance. And yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say that Rogue are warmed up. We all saw how... I mean, it's weird to say, but it was Rogue like Rogue. It was them at how we expect them to play.
Oh yeah, dominant. Whenever you see their setups and their executions, they looked... just, as an avid Siege fan, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see if they can keep that roll rolling. As we said, on a defense that in the previous time on Clubhouse wasn't the best. They ended getting only 2 rounds on their Clubhouse defense. So let's see if, well, Akami can find a response to the momentum swing that has just unfortunately parted from their hands. They have put in a fairly solid performance, and they're going for the quick rush here. Finds easily and swinging right in across the point. There is the quick pickup, and you can see one body on the far side on CCTV, but otherwise they are all pushing in via the B point. Swinging on the close wall there, Slashug looking for the firefight. Kilo finds his second for the round as the man pushes up the central stairs as well. There is the Ash swinging around, and within 15 seconds, it was over.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up. What have we just unearthed?
Speed.
That was more than speed. That was hyper speed.
Speed 2.
Speed 2.
Maybe even Speed 3. Was that the one? Which one was the one on a boat? Either way, all great films. Yeah, that
was on the boat.
That was a quick rush. That was aggressive, and that was, well, I guess why they bought the Finka. They're juking it this time. They're saying, haha, Finka, Ash, Twitch, Thermite, Zafir, we can try it again. Oh no, 6th pick off the Finka. Go for a slow and steady, and I guess see if they can shake Rogue and make Rogue question what they're doing. I think Rogue haven't fallen for the bait, or they might just be a little bit more aware of it, but... you know, that's one of those tricks where it works once, and it's obviously worked very effectively, but it's normally rare for it to work twice, especially in a row. Good moves, though, from Akami to kind of come into this and switch momentum into their favor.
So a quick rush. You know, we've seen it before. The old one-round wonder trick that can catch the enemy team by surprise. Akami know their limits. They know it's not probably going to work a second time, so they've went ahead and just simply changed up their strategies. You know, you look at their lineup, much more basic. Fink is out of the picture, and you know, that's a lot more commonly seen. You have the hard breach, you have the Thatcher, and then of course the myriad of aggressive fragging operators, Twitch, Ashe, and Sophia. Potentially lacking smokes, which is a great thing to have for the kind of top floor. You can sanction off a lot of the clear angles, and you know what, maybe even a Jackal to help with potential roam game below, which we know C4s can be pretty deadly.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about Border. I know we mentioned it every time we generally come here, but it's one of those ones where the vertical play can be so integral to how a team kind of formulates an idea, especially because it's very well trodden. Everyone is generally familiar with Border at this point. It kind of filled the gap that Oregon left as the map where a lot of big teams go to lose, and you know, it's because everyone's familiar with it. Layman, who had a pretty good showing on the attack grounds in the previous game, but shut down a little bit on the defense, finds the opening frag against Eclipse, and well, it's the Jaeger off the table, so if there's an operator to lose, it's not the worst, especially when you've still got your Smoke and your Maestro and your Mozzie the board, and your C4 in the pocket of the Valkyrie, but at the same time, you know, it's still the first death in your favor, and those didn't historically go the way of Rogue.
Okami, they've got themselves in towards Office, so B-Take is what they will try and attempt. Easily has rotated below, but has quickly wasted his Nitro Cell. For what reason, I'm unsure of, because surely you would have wanted to kept that for the late game and try and uproot the plant from there. Two men dart across towards the north side, and looks as if they're going to try and enter in through not only the ventilation room window, but also trying to sanction off the sandwich. Sophia lurking below, looking for, you know, the kind of roamers that may be running around, and even more weirdly, Slash is going with the FMG9 rather than the shotgun.
Well, he is trying to find his way to the other side and get the long firefight with the gun, but no one is obviously moving across there. Pops some bullets and rotates back via triple, but otherwise he's just going to double up against the point. Throws the smoke over the shoulder to try and offer some support to the Maestro, who is looking for the body of the Thermite, who drops down and then pops back up, but Brian is there to be able to take advantage of it. The diffuser is cold. They might not be able to know that from the range that they are on, and at this point it is 30 seconds left with no smoke canisters. They're going to have to take this aggressively. Drops the drone. There is the man underneath rotating up east stairs, going to put the pressure onto Fountain, and Brian is the one that can stop this with a triple kill. Brian tears them back into the round, and there is the fourth for the stand-in.
Wow. Rogue, your stand-in has shown up whenever you need him. The classic, you know, we'll pick up Brian, we'll drop Brian, we'll pick him back up, we'll drop him, we'll pick him back up again. Big brain plays.
Big blank Brian.
Oh yeah, from Paris, yeah. I remember that name.
Vent Workshop we go to now, and that is a response that has generally been, well, better. Obviously, it came down to one player picking up a 4K, and you can't really rely on those, but at least they have been able to find a response, which is something that they kind of struggled with in the previous rounds. Okami tried something new after the rush. I mean, you kind of have to, and it didn't quite work, but it was working, so I think they can find a way to make that become a consistent. Obviously, it is the standard first go-to point as the upstairs, and now we're going to rotate to a second point, and I'm curious to see if the roam game of Rogue can find a bit of a better home here on Border.
Yeah, they go Vince now, and this one means you have to at least set up shop somewhere else. You just cannot give the control of the top floor to the attackers, and whenever Okami, you know, they're not bringing like a puck or a sledge, but still, you could have breaching charges from like Sophia there potentially, and of course Ashe can open up with the breaching rounds. So, you know, Okami, on top of everything that's kind of going for them, are still bringing a decent lineup. They may be lacking a few operators to let smoke, I think would come in a lot handy for them if their site executes, but if they want to hunt for the kills, they're bringing the right lineup. Rogue now, they have a lot of C4s. They have 3 there, not a single heavy, very fast. We have 3 free speeds and 2 speeds. ADS just in the middle of the corridor.
This is turning into a bit of a gunning match.
This is just, they're setting up shop for 1v1s.
It has the sense, the signs of a gunning match. Vertical looking for the person immediately entering on these eastern stairs, waiting for the body to move past the window and gets them as prompted. Missed on the first, but picked up on the second, and for the first time today, swings the body count, or the first time this map even swings the body count in the favor of Rogue. Ash off the table, so it's a big potential gun for fragging, and especially out of the hands of Prompted, who had an exceptional map on the previous one.
Hey, but it's not the heats that count, it's the final championship match, and if he can't muster up the courage to make it matter when it counts, then does it really mean anything? No, to the answer of that. So now for Rogue, they have great advantage, and just straight away, Layman walks in, no drones, no nothing, no information, not even a kill, and he just gives himself up to Rogue. There is the refrag from Kalo as he goes in hard with 2 kills of his own, but it still leaves them on the back footing after losing their soft destructors. And that's the big thing about this bomb site specifically, is you need to have some form of explosive device to open up the flooring. Benji now looking to add some pot shots in with the F2, with of course 5 less bullets, keep this in mind, and hey, Twitch is laughing at that nerf.
What do you mean? It's completely changed the operator. Benji trying to hold the angle there and wait. They still have a minute 10 on the board. That is loads of time for them to be able to come up with a new strategy. They know roughly where the Mozzie is, but unfortunately he is behind a bit of safety as they go wide onto tension and see if they can pick up a body on the flip side. They want to get them 1 man out from that before they can find comfort and confidence pushing, and Valkyrie actually goes for the rotate and finds a bit of freedom there. She's able to move out and get somewhere safe, and that's Brian just going to hold a slightly further back angle with 40 seconds now. That's a lot of time able to be eaten, and the ability to close down and collapse Eclipse was aggressively holding that, but pulls back on the hearing of the Twitch drone that dips under the table and can't quite find the body just yet. Okami have to find a way into the building. They've wasted too much time to be able to rotate upstairs now, so it's going to have to be a flat push. This is going to come down to bravery, gun skill, and, well, unfortunately, not Twitch.
Flak in B bomb site. Don't see this going any other way but a Rogue victory. Still has to plant the diffuser, pistol comes out, C4 from Rogue in response. Round 3 goes their way, and Rogue now, they have a bit of momentum going with them.
Yeah, I think after, I like how the C4 hit him there, after how the first round went with the aggression that kind of came with it, it's, you know, it seems like Okami have hit the stumbling block of, well, Rogue warmed up. They're playing pretty well, they're playing consistently, and as we saw, setting up aggressively to respond.
4th round, and that means Rogue have to go for their off-site, their tertiary bomb site, their 3rd pick. They have a choice between customs or bathroom and tellers, and it's not a good option to have, Fluke, isn't it? It's like, do you want to lose your left leg or your right leg?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, in EU, you actually see a preference towards the tellers side, especially in amongst French teams. They have a habit of kind of going over to there, setting up above, getting the kind of drop-down vertical. But what I've seen from this region and from
yes, but this region doesn't have a Shaiko.
Yeah, no, not many regions have a Shaiko. In fact, I think only one region, I think. I could be wrong about that.
Great analysis from you.
Yeah.
Top notch.
I think there might be only one. APAC, right? And they set themselves up on this side, and here in LATAM, they seem to be more confident on this. And I don't know if it's the play space, I don't know if it's the fact that it still kind of has CCTV as a cornerstone, which is often a cornerstone for a lot of other teams if they're holding Armory. It's often a place where they set up reinforcements and firefights anyway, so they're kind of used to it as a play space. I don't know. There's a lot that always goes into a team's mentality and a dynamic, and you've got to ask the coaches to find those answers. I'm just the one that watches them do stuff and occasionally shouts about it. There is hard reinforcements coming out. They're also, again, playing heavily into the information game, bringing the Mozzie, bringing the Valkyrie, which plays very well in this favor. Finka is back. Okami might be doing a take 2.
Surely not. It should not work again, and this is the customs now. And this was a little bit more difficult to rush in towards because top floor is where you have to kind of push first of all. Because if you try and rush in towards like A or B, as long as you're upstairs control from Rogue, they can just play the vertical game. And whenever I say the vertical game, I don't mean the player, just, you know, vertical as in, you know, the positioning.
Well, Prompted crawls in on the Ash and has otherwise been a big problem so far, so might be able to find a body in and amongst the way he's crept in so far. Layman is trying to offer some cover support deep from Tellers and see if they can pick someone who's a little bit out of position, but Rogue's positioning has generally been pretty to the wire. It's one of the things they've been very good at so far is their discipline. They're holding angles and they're, well, just holding their mentality. Vertical is free to move around upstairs as his Slash and Eclipse playing more directly above the point, and it means Akami can't really enter with any confidence as long as that vertical hold is still locked down tight. They've got to find a way to start dropping bodies, and well, it looks like they're still trying to set up wide across the ground floor. Benji opens up against Brian and just charges into the point. Suffers in a bit of a firefight from Eclipse above, but can't actually finish off Benji, who goes down but gets picked up by the play of the Finker and is still moving in and around underneath. There's the one deep from the Teller side, and the connector gets the corner, and that is Prompted on that Ash that has been monumental as Kilo gets the diffuser down in the point, and now we're in a post plant where they seemingly had nothing and they took everything anyway.
Do Rogue not open up holes above the A bomb site? Why? Why would they not open that up? That's basic stuff, and it's cost them that. Okami rushes seems to be their success story. And that shouldn't be the case. Rushes should not single-handedly win you all of your rounds. And, well, it's happened now for Okami. Rogue, come on, pick it up.
Well, obviously it was the third point, the point of contention, and I think if they can take these next two, Rogue can put themselves in a very good position. However, if one of these slips, it might again be looking at a slightly shaky second half. We've already kind of talked about the size and the breadth of the map and how that's going to slightly, I would say, assist Akami, but, you know, at the same time, when we were on a 4-2 split in the favor of Akami, we were saying, well, this is a shaky Rogue, and then they come and attack and sweep. So who really knows how the second half of this can go? What I do know is they're baiting the Thermite pick for a 6th pick and smoke for Kaid on the hands of Slash, maybe for a bit more control, and it's the Ying that's going to be taken by Kilo.
So, Okami, pressure now has been applied just off of your rushes. That's what you've done to Rogue. You've made them worry. Which, honestly, Rogue should not be worrying. You know, they get to go back to their armory, and then again, Vents will follow soon after. This is round number 5. Rogue need a good solid 4-2 if they want to try and pull away. And, well, Rogue's attacks were the more impressive thing in the last matchup. We had 11 rounds of Clubhouse. 9 of those rounds went into attack wins.
Yeah.
Border isn't as kind of sway with, you know, one half or the other. It is very shoot straight down the middle, very 50-50.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'm curious to see is on the defenses of Akami, if they take more of an aggressive roam, or more of just a roam, full stop. We didn't really see any of that on Clubhouse, but again, Clubhouse is a much bigger, vaster map, and maybe being forced into the roam play might be more beneficial for them to be able to, I guess, get a bit more control. Either way, I guess we'll see if Rogue can pull some more back before we go to the turning of the half and swing some momentum. Otherwise, it's been pretty biddly back and forth between the two teams so far. No rush on the sides of Akami, but I do like the split push setup they're generally doing. It seems like they're droning ahead for each other, trying to get the information of where the defensive Rogue seems weakest, and then, well, exploiting it. 2 Claymores under 1 jump out is, I mean, I guess it's security, but a well-hit impact will theoretically hit both either way, and Layman, yet again, opens up the frags in favor, taking care of Slash, who, you know, he's had rounds and he's had, well, rounds, and this is unfortunately one of those ones. At the same time, Layman has been very, very good on the attacks.
Okay, so now for Rogue, they're on the back foot, they've lost their Kaid, but whenever there's no hard breach from Okami, that doesn't really matter. Big Bad Ying is in, and there goes the Big Bad Eclipse, and he flies straight off, but still managed to get the trade nonetheless. That's worth. But in the midst of that, they've lost their other Rogue members along with it. So once again, Brian, he's left with all to do, but doesn't go for it this time. Okami, they just walk in. They don't need a hard breacher.
Yeah, that was... you kind of got a couple of questions to ask of what happened around the point itself there for Rogue. They suddenly dropped a lot of bodies in a very short space of time, and there was the run out to get the trade, and at that point it was even, and oh, suddenly it's not even, and it's a 3 versus 1, and you know, it seems to be a little bit of what's happening from Akami, and I guess it ties back into what I said at the beginning of the round, is their initial spread of information on the rounds where they're not trying to get in as quickly as possible have been pretty solid. Gonna opt for the Vent Workshop hold this time. Yet again, Kilo is on the Finker. 6th pick from the Thermite and is bouncing between the pair pretty consistently throughout this game, and I guess we'll see if they can hold it with a bit more kind of consistency. Ella is on the board in the hands of Slash.
Their dog's called Ella.
Maybe they're hoping in the spirit.
You have seen their dog, yeah.
Of course I've seen the dog.
Yeah, who hasn't seen that
That's an
dog?
adorable little mutt.
It is, it's a fun one for sure.
Siege has a lot of good dogs.
Yeah, we do.
There's obviously Sunny from Sunny Carries. He's a good dog.
Yeah, I don't think the Americans will get that reference.
No.
But hey, any UK Prem listeners out there?
Sunny carries his dog for a team in the UK.
Goddess's dog called Sophia.
Goddess's dog called Sophia.
That's all I can think of.
There's more dogs out there, but it's 4 AM here. So
Doesn't Evil Geniuses have Zorro? Don't they have a dog?
I desperately need to know now.
Pretty sure they do. It's called Zorro.
How do we set up, and I know I asked for this before actually, the Puppy Bowl equivalent of Siege with all of the Siege dogs? How can we fund this?
Hey, you can fund it if you want.
I want all the puppies and dogs from Siege in a room.
Okay.
At a LAN. That's the show match.
You want to make crufts, but Siege dogs.
That's the next show match. In the meantime, Prompted has ashed their way through easily and taken out a big operator, and there's the pace coming. They're already in and amongst point. The Finker Rush has worked for the second and maybe the third time as the diffuser is being planted, and Kilo gets a double kill. 5-1, and Vertical has everything left to do out of nowhere and finds at least one, but Okami with the second blinding quick rush take a round. And that was the second one with all operators in the building, because they also got the one where they just sent the diffuser in.
Honestly, it's pretty much been 4 rushes from Okami, and those have been the only rounds they've won. So we talked about the fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. What's the 3rd and 4th time of fool me?
Fool me 3 times.
Drop a player.
Fool me 4 times.
Quit the game.
Well, at least let them finish this one first, because if we go back,
I've never seen 4 rushes work. I've never seen.
No, I've never seen that.
Max I've seen is like 2. This is a new territory.
If we throw our minds back to the previous one, Frost, first pick of Frost, we've seen throughout the series. It was 4-2 was the split last time. 4-2 was the split last time. There was no rushes on Clubhouse.
Well, Clubhouse doesn't really alleviate that much, give or take, with the rushes.
Yeah, but it, you know, I'm just saying, I'm just speaking facts here. 4-2, Rogue find themselves on the back foot for the second time, but obviously they won every single attack round that they faced, and they won them pretty consistently and convincingly. They were happier and confident on their attacks, and I'm hoping to kind of see more of the same, as I'm sure any Rogue fans out there are. At the same time, Okami's defenses were, well, a bit lackluster at points. They were able to find 1 or 2 bodies in and amongst it, but then from then on it, you know, all started to fall apart to what was pretty well timed and executed. Executes in the final 30-15 second marks. Frost is obviously the pickup here. They're trying to bait 1 or 2 motions from the sides of Rogue, but you would expect a team where we've already complemented their droning game and the skill of communication to fall for a Frost would be a big surprise.
It would be pretty funny if it did go down that way. And there's Big Bri. Fires on through, eliminates Kilo, and Rogue, on their attacks, look to be off to a good start. They get that first blood, which really gets their gears going, gets it into, you know, the right mindset of how they're playing it, eliminating, of course, a pulse. That's a C4 off the board. More importantly, sure, the information tool, but it's not as important compared to other maps. But still, that Nitro Cell could have been so important in the late game whenever the plant tries to go in, which, you know, if you look at Clubhouse, that is what Rogue has tried to prioritize, is getting the plant down, which is completely opposite of what Okami's went for every single round.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about them, is that's when the experience kind of shows. I guess Okami, they really shouldn't have got away with 4 rushes, I think is fair in anyone.
They shouldn't have got away with 2.
Yeah, but we'll see. Slash is instantly making his way across, drops one of them, and the Jackal is trying to keep the control of the footprints as well. And this is a good shutdown from Rogue, because one of the things that we said about them previously is on their defenses, when things were going wrong, they lacked a little bit of the aggression and a bit of the kind of fire. But at the same time, this is them kind of turning it up a gear. They're being aggressive. They're forcing against Akami's defenses, and so far it's been more successful. Akami are feeling a bit of pressure that they really did not suffer on their attacks.
So now for Rogue, they're looking to enter in below and try and utilize a bit of soft destruction they have brought with Eclipse, specifically in towards half wall, but I think they've droned that out and they know exactly where most of the players are. Benji, he rears his head and will eliminate Slash, but Brian quickly has the refrag, and well, Brian, he's kind of came life, look, hasn't he?
Yeah, Brian has really lit up this map and wants to make sure that they find their way through to the next round, which is always the best thing. Eclipse as well has dropped flak and put themselves in a 4-2 with a lot of time left on the board, and Brian a little bit of health. They've just got to find their way into the point itself. They have the body underneath, and one drifts past with more bullets put in towards Layman. It could just leave Benji in the corner position, who does find Brian in and amongst it. The Habana was low health and the diffuser has popped on the floor, but they still have a lot left to do at this point.
Still Benji alive with the 9mm, tries to fire on through, but nobody taking for the double breach option. Instead, they're going to try and opt for the metal and also in towards the B bomb site. And Layman, he's just holding firm as diffuser is being planted by Vertical, and there's the collapse from Rogue. They take their first attack, and will we see the sweep once again?
Well, 4-3, and again it was clinical, it was balanced, and it was well put together from the side of Rogue. Obviously, it's only a one-round difference, and you know, as we look at them on the previous map, it was a clean sweep across it. The diffuser went down once, and they're just so good at being able to set up the angles, set up the crossfire, and then take advantage of, well, the pressure that they're applying on Akami. And I cannot kind of put that down enough. Is that what they're missing on their defense? Is that return pressure? They were giving a lot of real estate over, giving a lot of land over, and just kind of letting them be fell upon, and it didn't quite work.
Is attacks just all the rave? Because if you look at our last series between Adventure Force and Akatsuki, it was, what, out of 19, out of like 28 rounds, we seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
attack wins.
Yeah.
I guess it's, you know, it's CL teams. The great defender teams.
Then you look at this, we've had, you know, 9 attack wins along with 5 already in this match.
Yeah, we've also seen 4 rushes of those attack wins, and outside of the game that was 14-0, and I guess some of the Liquid game was very quick, but not as quick as the other LATAM Stomp. This has been very fast. This has been, they're just trying to get in the point. I think they've been scrimming on Call of Duty now that that's out, and they've been trying to bring that into their game on this. I think that's what's happened. It's my only explanation for why it's working. Benji suffers some shots from the long range as they're popping and pre-firing against the standard positions, and you know, again, what we've said on Rogue is their setups are brilliant. Their angles are held and their drone game is solid, and it's for Akami to be able to find a response to this, because if they can't, it's tough to stop Rogue when they're that confident.
It is. Whenever Rogue have the wind behind their sails, they just cruise on in and kind of run over anybody in their way. So Rogue look as if they're trying to pressure in towards Armory, but there isn't a whole lot of kind of active roam game from Okami to try and stop that from happening. Nobody in towards security, so it has gave Rogue the green card to go ahead and jump in there. And you can see, like, they're sweeping below for roamers. They're doing something which Okami didn't do, and that's actually drone and prompted. He's basically just been yinged, but it's just free flashes.
Well, who needs a ying when
he's been stemmed. Oh, that's a big play.
That was a hero moment there, being able to get out of there and not be picked up. And
I kind of had to hold back my inner Twitch chat. I was about to shout POG, Puck. I kind of had to hold myself back.
It's never good when you say that out loud.
If I just shout at Pog, I would have let myself down and let everybody down. But I held myself back, so I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, well, Slash is rotating around to try and get some cover on the opposite side now as they start their drone work across the top. They have the big wall open and they know someone's behind half wall. Obviously unfortunate to not be able to open up the frag, but we do see a body on the side of a Cami underneath and ready to rotate from the central staircase. Slash can't quite find them, but it doesn't matter because Vertical gets them instead. And there is the second as Slash just creeps up onto Sandwich Window and cuts Black in half. Now they have almost all of this ground taken over. The smokes are coming out for a smoked plant here. It gets caught by an ADS and they're out of flashes to burn it, so they're just going to have to try and push in physically as one goes deep on the corner rotate. They're actually going to try and swing around now and just inside as Slash gets Benji.
Diffuser being planted. C4 does get cooked from below, but it doesn't go off, nor does it land anybody. And Rogue, clean sweep, flawless round, and the attacks proving to be the big upside of Rogue so far. You know, after a very disappointing Pro League season, not being able to win DreamHack Montreal, and just everything about Rogue was really sad to see a team kind of just fall from glory. And OGA is one of their only chances to actually make it to the big stage, and this could be a great tournament whenever it is best of threes, a team that we know are historically better compared to best of ones. Again, you look at the kind of bracket, you know, they have SSG on their side of the bracket, and pretty sure they have Sonics as well, but we see Sonics on the next play day.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you kind of, we mention however many times how the best of three kind of situation can really give the chance for a team to stretch their legs. And, you know, for the slew of games that we've already seen, it's already been very, very prevalent and very, very present is some of these teams require a bit of time to warm up, because one of the big things that comes through every kind of turn of Siege is that there's a lot of young guns that come and they're very aggressive and they bring this fast play style, and you get the two tiers of teams in a weird way where some of them are built around that and they kind of set the fraggers up and they keep the map hot and they keep it alive, and it's, you know, it's a playstyle often seen in LATAM and it's a playstyle often seen in certain places. And then there's teams that are structured and formulaic and they like to respond to stuff, and those teams, they kind of struggled when the meta shifted a little bit to the faster side, like Rogue and like Secret for a bit as well. It was a bit of an upswell. However, you put those same teams in a best of three where they get a little bit more ground and a little bit more situation to do the drone game, to learn about their opponents and find ways to tear it apart. Well, this is what you see. You see Rogue pulling it back on a 4-2 defense deficit. So you see them doing the same thing on the next map. You see a team that warms up and gets confident.
So move to vents now for Okami, their versed ventilation room defense. They've set up very heavy towards the top floor. I can see at least 4 bodies spread out throughout the course of Office and the Armory alike. Also, Capcan being brought to the table. I wonder if that's going to get anybody by surprise. A run out from Kilo, and that's hit it shot on Vertical. And that's a big player off the board for Rogue.
Yeah, great thought there as Brian balances it back up in the meantime. But taking care of the Jackal is going to mean that those 3 players back on the top floor are going to have a little bit more of a better chance at just, well, surviving as they keep the hold hot. You can see one rotates towards the central stairs, and Kilo is now rotated to find a place. And you've got to give credit to Kilo. He really struggled in the first map, but has been absolutely electric in this second one, leading the charge throughout the quick rushes alongside the Ash with the Finker, and then being able to be so active and aggressive on these defenses is actually giving themselves a bit of a fighting chance against a Rogue that has, as we said, traditionally been very, very good in this second half of the game. Dancing and tiptoeing on a big table and waiting for someone else to fall into his trap as he falls off. He is still in a lot of control on this upper floor.
Benji doesn't have a C4 that he can't toss out to try and defend himself from above, but he has players up there to do it for him. So, at the moment for Okami, they have control of what they want, and that is the top floor. That means that nobody from Rogue can try and push in towards bomb site without clearing up these roamers. And well, Slashy tried his hand, but Kilo will shut him down. Now Rogue, they're in a sticky spot. So they've lost the Jackal and the Ash, so Fragging Operator's gone. Comes down to the supports. We know that Brian has been proven to step up whenever it matters, and Easley, as we know, has been a bit of a crazy man tonight. Let's see if they can try and muster up the courage to take this fight to Okami.
Well, they're steadily getting into positions where Okami might not be 100% sure on where they've managed to get to, and Eclipse finds Benji in the meantime. Brian has crept his way all the way to the door of point, but a mistimed flash or a great timed push from Flack puts an end to Brian. And now it's down to Easily and Eclipse to find their way back into the firefight. There's still a body above, there's also a body below, and that one is able to just swing around and get the second kill there with a diffuser cold on the floor. Eclipse has to try and push via the point, is worried about the person, well, behind, but it's actually above, and there's the shutdown on the stairs as well, and too many angles. Rogue find themselves hitting a little bit of a dead end, and Okami push themselves back into the round lead.
I don't know if it's because they lost vertical in that first opening engagement. Well, I say engagement, a lucky wall bang from the Jaeger, right?
Yeah.
If it's because they lost him, who is that main man who will try and clear out the roamers, being that Jackal operator, you expect that from him. But they kind of took a back step. You know, they went into their shell, and they didn't want to go for the upstairs clear. They should know that the way this bomb sites work is it's so dependent on the armory and ventilation relationship that it has. You need to take upstairs if you want to try and take vents, because if you allow the defenders to sit upstairs and have access to the holes in the floor and the hatches, you're just going to get crushed as you try and push on in.
Well, Bath from Tellers for the first time today we see, and Frost for the second time in the entire OGA pick closed quals. Rarer pick, I think it's fair to say, for the role of Frost, and I don't think she really added anything the last time she was on the board.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely the Frost, it was there. I think it's more of like a nuisance operator, but he's just been rotating on traps. You know, we seen him on Cat Can the last time, and that didn't really come into play too often. Let's see if maybe the Frost can do it better. So on Rogue, their off-site pick was the Customs, but for Okami, they're going to go for Bathroom and Tellers. An intriguing bomb site, which kind of forces you into one way. It's like you're walking down a single street with no way out. You just have to go down this lane. Basically, you have to hold upstairs. There's no other way around it. You need to hold office. If you want to extend into the archive, sure, go for it, but you can just hold from the open area. It relies a lot on how quick thinking your defenders can be, and for the attackers, it can be difficult to open up in towards triple wall because bandits and kites can be very common, but I just feel attacks have just an easier time going with it. Whenever you open up that triple wall in towards office, everybody from defense has to take, you know, a step back and look at it and think, hey, we can't really peek this anymore, and then Rogue will just continue to put the pressure on and squeeze them out one by one.
Well, setting themselves up with the information game there, and you can see that Eclipse is ready to already try and put this horizontal pressure from the southern balcony. Lost a body from the run out on this side, and probably more worried about being susceptible to it from this time round, but at the same time, if they do a jump out, it's going to allow them just to have a route in. Famous words of Emzo, holes work both ways, and that includes for runouts too. Flack holding from above, seeing if anyone gets, well, bold enough to rotate that close, with Doc ready on a jump out on AC. Can't quite find anyone yet, so it's going to pull back, and Kilo is not too far away, but here comes the man creeping around the corner and ready and waiting for this firefight. The camera is there, the drones are attempted, and that's probably going to be where the first confrontation happens. But otherwise, for the meantime, Brian is going to get open triple wall and start forcing them further and further away from a comfortable spot here. They take the rotation down. There's also a couple of movements behind them, and they've surely got to be aware of the same run out they suffered from previously.
DMR from the Dokkaebi fires through the soft wall. I think they have a suspicion that Castle is lurking there, and the nade will create basically like an impact grenade would work. It's create a massive circular hole that, of course, Dokkaebi can play around with and could potentially vault through as well. Easily does finish off that Castle, who took a lot of damage, and there is still that upstairs control from the defenders, but because that wall is open, like we talked about, the defenders, they need to take a back step and just have to hold on as much as they can. As the Minimark comes in, that's a great kill by Flack. That alerts Rogue that there is still roamers, and now they're just cautious of it.
Well, he's trying to do the math in his head, Slash. He's trying to work out where the body is, but he pre-fires him, and Brian is now on half health in the meantime, waiting for the rotation back round from Kilo, who is again having a really good map this time, keeping electric and keeping, well, a big problem. Eclipse is worried about the run out and holding it and waiting for the mistake from Akami, but in the meantime, Kilo is able to shut down Slash and put another body into his ever-growing list of corpses easily. Is trying to stick the plant at this point as Eclipse offers some fire over the shoulder, and they might stick it, but no! The C4 comes in from Flak, finds one as Brian gets prompted, and well, now the diffuser is cold inside point and they have to find a way to get in and get down. And with only 15 seconds left, it looks like this is a round that is slipping through Rogue's fingers as Flak finds a triple. Eclipse has everything to do and not enough time to do it, with one on the corner and one upstairs. Okami put themselves onto map point.
Okay, now Rogue, they have to pull these next 2 rounds to give themselves the overtime chance. But that's a stretch. Okami now have just responded to Rogue in what they did in the first 2 opening rounds for this half, with 2 attack wins, and they've just came back swinging with, of course, the Tellers, which is quite surprising that they did win on that. And Rogue, there wasn't wrong with them. Was it perhaps the fact of trying to push in towards the office but not really having a firm grip? It's like they were kind of half in and half out all at the same time. You just need to fully go for it if you want to take office, because once you do take control of the top floor, you could just open up right above anybody in bathroom, eliminate that threat, and then work your way in from there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they expected to come across, but they seem to be holding for angles that just never really showed up, and it allowed Kilo to freely move around the detention side of the map, take 2 bodies.
I don't like the fact that said random.
What said random?
The bomb site pick for the defense.
You know? How can it be predicted if you don't know?
That could have went to customs for them.
How can you counter-strat that which is unknown? You just can't. To be fair, okay, Okami, they're having good rounds. They've been setting themselves up very well. Rogue, busting out the line and seeing if that can change their favor. With 2 rounds in it, it's not the biggest obstacle to climb. We've seen them be very concise on their attack rounds, and even if they lose that, we then do head to a 3rd map, which is Consular. But again, the fire that's kind of showing up from Okami on this 2nd map is just putting them in good stead.
5 seconds to insertion.
Oh, the Titan Killer's here. I was kind of, wondering when this would make its appearance. And for anyone who doesn't know what the Titan Killer is, it's that mighty weapon that Ella is wielding. It contains all 6 Infinity Stones. It's single-handedly beat Thanos, and it's ready to make its mark here in the Rainbow Six Siege scene.
It's also a gingerbread version this time. It's a nice little delicious treat to end worlds. Well, Flak is setting up the Ella mines, and I guess they're trying to prevent someone from getting a quick entry and swing, which seems to be something that Rogue does very well in the dying throws, and did do in Clubhouse. So it's a good response from the side of Okami to read in how Rogue would like to do their final 30-second pushes, and I'll give themselves just a bit of a burster for when those swings actually occur. Slash is creeping up with the Lion. I guess we'll see whether they utilize it alongside the pushes or find something to keep them only on the 2 maps, but there's the camera spot, so they now know the Lion is on the board, and they should be well aware of it. Covering the runouts and the rotations and making sure they don't get kiloed again, but Flak is the first to suffer a huge amount of damage, and Kilo throws himself into the firing line, tries to find a body, gets easily down, and Slash slightly injured on the far side, but easily's back up, and Kilo's down, and well, there goes Prompted.
Okami struggling, Rogue dominant, and now 1v5. Don't do it. Don't do it. This, not like this, Layman. Not like this. Why is this turned into USN?
6-5. Spins around. Sacrifice.
What was that? A solid, what's 720 times 2? 1440?
Holding up a sign that says 6.4.
Oh, have you rated him? As if he's doing like
it was a 6.4. Could be better.
Could be better.
Mm-hmm. Room for improvement.
He did kill himself. I don't know if you've noticed that.
It means well, he's back to life now, so he gets a 2nd attempt. Though I would recommend not doing it this time round. You never know when you can pull off the most...
Yeah, you always have hope, 1v5.
Always have hope. Vent Workshop we go to. Capcan swapped for Frost. DeKaby swapped for Lion, maybe, as they double-check that. And we're going to pop in to Vent and I guess see if they can find something on it. They've lost the time they pushed Vent. They lost it once on their defense and won it once on their defense. They're currently looking at about a 33% win ratio on the point. Now, that Rogue we saw in the previous round, far and away different to the Rogue we've seen on some of the others.
Yeah, that one was just like very rapid from Rogue, wasn't it? Straight in there. They've brought up the Lion, which probably has led into why we've seen that aggressive nature. We do see the counter pick though from Layman. Vigil. A lot of people forget that Vigil is immune to the Lion scans. People forgot that was added in.
He's so fast and so sneaky.
5 seconds remaining.
Layman pre-firing and open up any angles that might be able to play into some of the aggression. As we've said, Kilo seems to be wanting to get more and more aggressive as time goes on, and it seems like he's convinced Layman and Prompted to join in, waiting for the swing in. And as we've said, Rogue, when they lose the first body, have sometimes started to fall apart a little bit. So we'll see if they can at least keep some semblance or just find the opening frags and play against Okami's aggression, which will come down to the drone information. Pre-fires swinging through, well, a whole load of different places there as Benji rotates back around with the Frost to try and see if third time's the charm and see if they can actually catch someone in the traps. Though, as we said, it's more of a kind of deferral up. You see the traps, you have to impact them, you have to use utility to stop them, or you have to aim downwards when you swing in instead of aiming the way you probably want to.
So now we have a little look at Okami and their setup. No denial in terms of like a smoke or a maestro being brought. That'd be my only minor thing, because they have no real form of information apart from the Mozzie drones. And even at that, it's not a guaranteed source of information, because you have to go and hunt the drones to begin with. So Rogue, they're looking to try and just entry their way on the site, I believe, because typically they would have someone like Eclipse upstairs assisting vertical, and Rogue they've took from east stairs, so perhaps they are looking for upstairs, but I still feel it's going to be very aggressive in towards the east side.
Well, they seem to be kind of keeping a bit of the fire they had before, but I really think this opening frag is what's going to swing this round, and whether we hit overtime or whether we hit map 3. Okami are holding on, and the Jackal spots are still coming forward with Kilo on a fraction of health. It's just a matter of seeing if they can close down above. The pressure's coming, and there is at least one in the favor. Eclipse finds Kilo. The second line ping goes off, but Jackal is struggling to get the body below. Unfortunately, 2 steps behind every time. There's Vigil being flashed out as Vertical shuts that down, brings it to a 2-5 as Slash finds another and Eclipse finds another. Rogue, where have you been throughout the rest of this game? 4-1 Prompted as Lion scanned, but because the body goes down, they know where he is. Going to open a sight line to below, see if they can find somebody in that kind of alleyway of plant possibilities on the back. Sees a bit of a body, but there is someone coming from Officer's side. It's only a matter of time before they get shut down. There it is. Overtime.
Overtime it is for Rogue, and that Lion has just revitalized them all of a sudden. It's gave him that aggressive standpoint. It's made Okami have to stand still and just literally just give everybody from Rogue that opportune moment to get into a better position, a better fragging position more than anything. Rogue get the defense first though, and the only rounds on the attack that Okami did win was due to 4 rushes. I really hope that Rogue have learned from their mistakes, which they have the Ella being brought, so that would lead me to believe that they're kind of set up for the potential rush.
I mean, fool me 5 times. I don't know what happens at that point.
We'll never get that far, I hope.
Finker's back on the board.
Oh no.
Finker's back on the board in the hands of Kilo. If they fall to another rush, because I know it's a hard thing when you're in this situation, when you're prepping against rushes, because if they do it once, you're like, well, they're probably not going to do it again. I get that mentality. If they do it twice, at that point you're thinking, okay, well, maybe we should put some stuff like Ella's up around the point as they've brought, maybe some more trap operators on top of that, maybe some information from Valkyrie and those potential rushes, and just hard watch information for the opening 10-15 seconds. 3 times and 4 times?
10 seconds.
Every round win they get on attack, you think, well, this is how they play this. And we've got to have a response to this because, you know, if it suffers again, they just need to be aware. And at this point, I guess we'll see what pace they decide to push against it. Still throwing out cameras, still doing setup, and haven't seen the bodies as of yet, but, you know, the fact they're still reinforcing stuff is one sign. There is the players of Akami. They're setting up towards this side. They haven't gone for the same pace of rush as they did before, but with Thinker on the board, you never know when they might suddenly shift themselves into overdrive. The Twitch drone is taken out after getting a camera, and Slash is holding close with the Elemine, and this is what they're going to try and do to counter anyone who comes in the main door, but prompted on the Ash has been a big problem for Rogue so far.
No Thermite or Habana basically means Okami can only push in pretty much through B. It's not as if they can go and open up hatches or even try and breach upstairs where Vertical is currently playing. Easily as well, over towards Customs, and that's information because he has to realize if Okami were gonna go for an upstairs attack, which, you know, is very common where you would set everybody up security and then finally try and open up the wall and then get your buck, whatever it is in, that's information that they know they're looking for the quick rush. And Ash is on main stairs, crouch walking down. Is anybody from Rogue ready for this? I highly doubt it, and there we go, Vertical, he's eliminated and prompted. Very quickly scurries back upstairs, and there's Layman adding onto it. Slash, he goes down as the finger push does come in. And now Rogue, they once again have fell victim just to Okami walking in.
Well, Kilo finds another. Brian at least puts it a little bit back in their favor, but there are 3 bodies from 3 different directions right now, and Ash is holding this door. Pops the wall, and Brian reacts quickly to move aggressively towards it, but there is still Ash behind you, and they're not quite sure. There's the bullets to let you know, and with Eclipse down on the ground, it is all down to you to claim this round out. The diffuser is
1v1.
cold, and it's a 1v1.
Finka rotates away, could look for the pickup onto the Jackal. There is time here, and Brian on low HP. He's going to have to be a little bit worrisome about how much HP actually does have. Frag grenade gets cooked, but that will be the last one, and doesn't land for Kilo. He knows exactly where he is, doesn't have diffuser, has to go pick that up. But Brian holds firm. And this could go either way, because 1 foot out of place for Kilo. This could end very badly for them. Eclipse finally gets that kill on the Flak, as he did down him, of course, but then Kilo does eliminate Eclipse. 1v1, still how it goes. And Kilo, he's just running down the clock, and he needs to start moving. That barbed wire will allow Brian to know exactly where he is, and Kilo gonna try and bait it, could potentially go for the rush, but there's constant information being added in. Still holding back, has to be a Valkyrie camera, oh, and the 180 spin from Kilo. He's happy with that, and so are we, and Rogue, they fall victim to yet again. Oh, it was a hip fire as well.
Almost perfect from that hold there in a 1 versus 1 situation. Almost did a hell of a clutch there, but unfortunately just a little bit of a slip up at the end. 7-6. We find ourselves heading over to this overtime. I don't think I've seen a Finker be this successful this repeatedly for a team in a while, but as we said, Kilo is having a very good time this map, and especially on that operator. Still discussing what point to bring on the defense. Currently still on random, and nothing's locked in there. They are randoming the point by the looks of it.
Why are they randoming the pick? Why? Are these guys just free wind spirits that will travel wherever the wind takes them?
At this point, I just don't know. But 7-6 overtime match point. They hit up Vents again. We've already said this has been a point of kind of mixed results, but last time Rogue were here, and not excluding the time we just saw, last time they were attackers, it was a pretty much flawless assault.
Yeah, they've won it once and lost it once in their attack, but that round 12 Vince attack was really strong, and Lion again comes into the fray of things, which did liven them up a little bit, and they need to do it once more, because still match point in favor of Okami. 7-6 to scoreline, and wouldn't be surprised if we see all 15 rounds this game.
Well, are they going to play as aggressive as they have been before? Because so far it hasn't really worked too much. Yes, they got the one swing out from Jaeger of Kilo, but outside of that, it hasn't really come to fruition. I say, as Kilo gets slashed, and that is the lion off the table.
The Titan Killers here, yeah, they've lost. We've got a third map coming. Rogue on the man deficit. Vert's still alive though, and we know what he's like. Can pop off at any time and any moment he wants to. But it's everybody else we need to try and focus on. We need everybody else from Rogue stepping up their game. Cap can't be identified, and Benji's just been back and forth on the trap operators.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of how they wanted to at least put a little bit of control over the team. Eclipse finds Kilo and, well, takes him out of this round, but has he already done the damage he needs to do? Eclipse suffers a little bit on the shoulder as well as Brian goes for a quick swing and a rotate, and they're going to see if they can find a second way into this firefight now. Setting up the drone on 90, letting themselves have a bit of a sightline and control maybe some of the motions made by Okami, but there's still a body in armory above point.
Have breached in towards the triple wall of office. And Brian, he needs to try and step up just like he did in those earlier rounds of Border where, you know, Big Bry strikes again, and let's see if he can do it once more as the stand-in for Rogue. Okami, they still have plenty of people up and alive, and Rogue, already half of their time is done. It's gone. They still have to go through the Titan Killer inside of Bathroom, which is the more important thing for me. This gun is just so good.
Well, let's see if they can find a way to make use of it now. With a minute on the clock again, Rogue like to set up and like to execute. The Elemine pops off and pre-fires as he reverses out of there, but no one is there to pick up the response to that as Brian creeps slowly, steadily closer. There's a drone at his feet, and there's an L around the corner, but will they be able to actually make use of it? Because you're going up against a big gun in close proximity. Layman is now distracted by the body upstairs as Eclipse finds one, and if they can drop this Ella, that could be very good for them, but Ella is fighting back and refusing to let that fall. There is the detection, there is the swing round. They're just going to hold in, and the pre-fire comes, and Vertical, clean from above, uses the range. Flack drops the man on his drone.
Yeah, how has he been able to get in this position past Rogue? But still, Rogue have that advantage. They have the man count in their favor. They need to go for the defuse, though, because that's slowly ticking down their time. The C4 gets tossed out by Benji, and that will land the diffuser, more importantly, and Flack also picks up the pieces of 1v1, but Vertical is planting the diffuser. Flack doesn't know that, because there is no information for Okami. Vertical versus Flack. SMG-11 against the C70, and Rogue, well, they survive. Vertical survives, more importantly, and we go all the way.
First full overtime, I believe this is. We've seen overtime once before, but it went to an 8-6. This is the first time this OGA, yet again, still setting records. And it is Armory Lockers and Archives we head to for maybe the last defense of the night, maybe the second to last map of the night. At this point, it's hard to call, but I don't think I've ever seen a pair of maps so attacker favored than these.
Oh, it's been wild. We've only had 4 defensive wins in this map alone. Wow. And still overtime as well, both the overtime rounds, both attack wins. So if the trend fits, we go to a third map, Fluke.
Yeah, and I have to see if there's loads of sugar to keep myself going for that, because it's been a very long cast. Best of threes, 3 best of threes really kind of takes it out of you, especially when they've been as hectic and as chaotic as, oh, I don't know, 4 quick rushes in a row with maybe a 5th about to happen, because she's back on the board.
Oh no, there's no, honestly, there's a part of me that believes Okami is trolling. There is a big part of me, with the way that they've been playing, with these rushes, with the trap operators, with the random pick of your bomb site on match point, they have to either have the biggest nerves of steel or they are just legitimately trolling.
Whichever it is, it's apparently their best strap book.
It's so crazy, man. It really is.
Hey, when the pressure's off, sometimes players play better, and I guess that's something that's working in their favor. Unfortunately for Rogue, they've just really struggled to try and make the pieces, well, fall in the way they want them to. Setting themselves up still late on in the round, and it's not the quickest rush we've seen, but they are swinging their way in on the eastern side with a couple of bodies towards the northwest, and Slash drops Benji, opening up the frags with some aggression of his own, swinging with the Doc ACOG. This is the response that they wanted.
Rogue, this is perfect. They've eliminated Benji, who we know has nutty aim. His upside down repel being held by Finkin. Is Slash ready for it? Just has to be cautious now, but I don't even think that Keel was looking in that direction. Brian's out of Fountain is going to be kind of the first man that I feel Okami need to put aside and deal with him first off, because he is the mute. Or not the mute, the smoke. He can deny, you know, the accessibility in towards the B bomb site, and plus he has an SMG-11, can easily peek over towards the B side of Concrete and simply get a kill. First, actually, second Adrenaline Surge. What did they use the first one for?
Maybe to, I don't know actually. We didn't really see it go off, so unfortunately...
It didn't really do anything.
Yeah, didn't quite pull themselves in, but Slash is still holding the long angles. A minute 30. This is the slowest Okami have ever pushed. They've lost the man, and they've kind of started to struggle.
And this is the bad thing, though, because their strategy of bringing these operators is to rush in effectively and quickly. But by losing Benji, they have just stopped at a wall. They're not getting through this. Slash is extremely lucky not to be fragged there, and now we'll go up against Ash trying to peek on in towards the armory. But still Rogue, a minute to go. Everybody alive, Utility still in the back pocket. Look, even Doc has all 3 stim pistols, and Nitrocell still on hand with the Valkyrie. Okami, they need a miracle right now.
Well, 50 seconds, and Easily is throwing some big bullets along the long angles, and so far a couple of them have hit, but not enough to do a full amount of damage. Vertical gets picked off by Flak underneath. You can see the fast motions towards officers above. They need to close down the Jackal, and there it is. Eclipse finds one, but Prompted drops Brian in the meantime. 3-3 with 30 seconds on the clock. They're trying to get the diffuser down and bait out Utility. Creeping around the back stairs, Slash finds Kilo, puts it into a 2-3 with one more on 90 corner and one on point. Layman finds Eclipse, brings it to a 2-2 to a 2-1. There is the Ash Rush and finds one, puts it at a 1-1 situation. Prompted! Okami find themselves taking the second map and throwing us to the third, full-length best of 3 of the night.
Another attack win, which should never have existed. Okami, the mad lads of North America, pull off a miracle. They needed one, and they got it. But we still have one more map to go. Please keep watching.
predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.